So I've got the sprinkler going crazy out here. I think I finally have the system pretty much figured out. I'd like to put a timer on this part of it. This is a completely separate thing. I'll have to explain it here in a few minutes when we get inside. See, I've got my security wired up. Actually, it's just to keep it from popping open if it rains. Somebody busted the lock. This thing was, I don't know how many years old it is, but rain came in one night and the sprinkler turned on by itself and everything. It was kind of weird. Uh, my wife actually asked me to automate this, which I've been waiting for her to ask me to automate something for a long time. Anyway, what we've got here, this is a ESP8266 D1 Mini. So, and I've got it. Let's see. I took the insides out of the system, and you can see here the transformer, and it's wired up to the 110. This is the way it was whenever we bought the house. You see all the new houses, this thing's in the garage instead of out in the sunshine. So anyway, so that's the 110 coming in. And what I did is I connected one of those little converters, you plug it into the wall and you plug your phone into it. Um, I busted one of those open. You can see my quality cover I manufactured there with black tape. Busted one of those open, soldered a couple of wires onto it, and wired it up to the 110 there, you can see. So this is my 5 volts coming into my D1 Mini. And the D1 Mini, you can see that red wire here is 5 volts coming out. It's actually straight from the USB. And the other one, the purple one, is the ground there. And I've got a 6-pack relay back there that's going on. And it turns off and on the solenoids to the all the sprinkler areas. So you see I've got this one labeled 6 and this one labeled 5, and they're not hooked up because those are two small areas in the front that were broken and I had to cap off. I will eventually put, it's one of those drip things. So anyway, I'll eventually fix that back up. So I have the 2 spaces for them here available. Well, I guess it's down at this end. Anyway, I'm just thinking why I wired it that way. So this is a 25 volt transformer AC, and it's coming in, and you can see the yellow wire goes in, and it hops to each normally open connection on the relay, and the center toggle of the relay is connected to each zone. Sorry if there's too much movement here, but anyway, so you can see I have them numbered, which zone is which. The front yard, the north side, the backyard, and the south side of the house are the 4 that I have running right now. And I actually have all 6 wires connected up on the D1 Mini, so I can add these 2 when I'm ready. It'll be ready to go. So, and the common, see the white wire goes up there, the common runs out to all the solenoids, and I assume it daisy chains around to all the solenoids, um, and they all connect that way. So, and I turn on the relay and it makes contact and it turns them on. And you see I've got the backyard going right now. I'm going to shut this up and go back in the house and show you some things. We got kind of a wild garden. I know you can see a couple of tomatoes, but I don't think they're going to turn red. Anyway, we got corn, lots of corn, just something to try. A wild peach tree there in the middle of it. Mulberry trees going crazy. Basil, the basil's gone nuts with the sweet potato there in the middle. And we've got grapes back there, you can see, and it's just pure mayhem. We're not getting a lot of food off of it right now because it's become the hot part of the year. We were getting lots of lettuce and spinach and um, broccoli sprouts, just all kinds of things for a while there in the spring especially. But now it's too hot, nothing's really doing good. But we like to see it green, so we keep watering. So I've got to, we'll go inside now. Seems like everything I'm doing today is taking 2 tries. So this is my orange pie 1. I think it's the cheapest one you can buy. Back when it cost me 15 bucks. Of course, then I found out it wouldn't power on the USB, and so I had to buy a $15 power supply. So it still ended up costing me 30 bucks, but I am really happy because right now I think they're running 45 bucks, the cheapest one. I can't remember. But it does not have Wi-Fi. That's something they've added. So I like it. It hardwires into my router here. And I have Armbian operating system running on it. You see the little SD card stuck in there. I have Armbian running on it. I have Nginx server, web server running on it with PHP. And you can see it has a HDMI port there. So it makes an okay desktop whenever I need to. And it's only got one USB port. So you cannot have a mouse and keyboard at the same time with trying to have Wi-Fi on it. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, but I like it hardwired anyway. And it works really good for what I need it to do. I was trying to show you that. Um, so I wanted to show you that. And that's about it. I never noticed it has a green light there. Interesting. All right, I don't know what happened on my last video. We'll try it again here. I was talking about how I have it wired up outside. See, this is the transformer. And it has the 25 volt AC output. And I have the hot, or one side of it, daisy chained to each normally open side of the relay. And the center part of the relay, the little switching part, goes out to the solenoid in the yard. And the other side of that, I assume they're all daisy chained together and connected to the common wire, and it comes back up. And I have my the ESP8266 is connected to that, the solenoids that flip the relay that turns it on and off. So that's that. Okay, so this is the little interface I wrote for my sprinkler system that I now have fully automated. And you can see when I press the button, it tells me the system is on, and the system is on and it's automated, so it'll run 3 days a week for 10 minutes in each zone, which I don't think is enough. But anyway, and I have it set up also where I can do each zone independently, the front yard, the north side, backyard, and south side. But the system has to be on for me to be able to do any of this. I can hit the sprinkler off and nothing happens at all. I also have the port forwarding set up on my home router. You see this is the local IP that I'm using right now because I don't want everybody messing with my sprinkler system, turning it on and off. So I'm not going to publish my home IP address up there. So anyway, this is the interface, and it is written in PHP. And you can see over here that, okay, the head, that the title is, that's that up here you see on the tab is the title. And then you have the 2 header files, the home sprinkler system and pressing the button. And then this command here, array key exist, I'm assuming is comes from, oh, can't use the mouse on down here. So this is the key, right? Name is the key, value key pair. When I push, these are actual buttons down here where you see form method. These are the actual buttons that show up on the screen. And so then whenever the turn on is hit, it goes up here to turn on, and then it runs this function, which the function is down here further. And you can see it runs a system command using curl to call this URL and pass this value on the header. Okay, so then that is calling the ESP8266 D1 Mini, which is outside. And I was thinking I have one here. No, I can't show you because I'm doing screenshots, not camera. So you see down here, okay, let's go all the way up to the top of the code. All the way to the top of the code. And you see I've got all these nifty includes and device name, sprinkler. So if I look on my router, I can see the connected device is called sprinkler. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay, so you see what I'm using is UDP. And I'm using the UDP to get the time because I want to set it to run at specific times, right? So right now it's 8:30 and I have it set so it'll start right there at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. Okay, and my duration time, if it's set to 0, the system won't run. I've got it set so the default is off in case the electricity does something funny. Days of the weeks in an array. Here we go, UDP. So I set up my UDP and I use my UDP, and what I was doing was trying to use a static IP, and there is something funky about trying to use a static IP and UDP that the ESP8266 does not like. I was getting ready to switch over to the ESP32, but I already have everything written for the 8266, and I'm a big fan of the 8266 because it's so cheap. And so one of the things is once a device, pretty much any device, gets assigned a DHCP IP, then it will pretty much stick with it. And that has held true every time I turn this one off and on. I've still got, I imagine if I turn it off for a week or two, I might lose that IP address. But I think just for the short time, even resetting the router, it should maintain that IP address. In my past experience, anyway, if the electricity goes out and it comes back on, the default is to be set to off, so it won't do anything. What was I talking about? UDP. And then you can see in setup here, I've got, yes, I still have my print lines all in it, which is, I know, a bad programming mode, but it's not affecting the speed or performance or anybody else's code but mine. So I've got all the digital pins up here where I initialized all the digital pins. You see I assigned them to these names, anyway. And so then I initialize all the pins here, and I start my Wi-Fi, and it connects, and down here it prints my local IP. So whenever I upload the program and I watch it for a minute and I can see what my IP is, and here I'm setting the time client, which is the UDP, what did I call it? UDP. So it gets it, and and it sets the time. You see, it sets my time zone is at -5 Greenwich Mean Time. So Greenwich Mean Time is 3600, so I've got to multiply it by 5, and I get this 18,000, negative 18,000 to get me in my right time zone. Server on whenever you go to if I was to go to this IP address 192.168.0.25, and it's just blank. It doesn't return anything. I have it set up so it's not returning anything. But I could do stuff like put a / turn on up here, and it would, actually I can show you that. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. /turn on. I do have it returning. See, system is on, and I was showing you there, that's where it prints this at. And back here, right here, I have it where it server sends. It's a reply back saying, it replies back and it gives you the 200. Yes, I got your response, your request, and I'm giving you a response. And then I go down and I set the duration time, and then I print the duration time so I can see it. And down here it's got turn off, and you see I set the duration time 0, and lots of prints so I can see what's going on. I could comment those out and re-upload it, but like I said, it doesn't cause any trouble with the system. I even have delays here, so whenever I hit the front yard button, if I hit the front yard button, well, it doesn't show up, too bad. Show it over here. If I hit the front yard button, it shows to run this right here. All right, so I got interrupted, or I interrupted myself. I do really good with these recordings. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. I have to get back to my SSH into my Orange Pi, which I'm using for my server. I have, I think I have Nginx running. I can't remember if I'm running Nginx, excuse me, or if I'm running Python, Apache. Yeah, no idea. That was not a good idea to do. All right, so we'll get back to our directory here. HTML, and okay, so nano index.php, and here we are back to where we left off. And so yeah, it runs a function, this function, to turn on and turn off, and it calls it on this IP address, which is the ESP8266 D1 mini, and I showed you where when it calls that, it does that, runs that on here. See, we've got the turn on and turn on. That's where I was. Excuse me. So, and then we've got the front yard. Oh, I told you about the duration time of the front yard, and it replies front yard and the front yard off, and the north side, backyard, south side. And these are two for further extension. I showed you that. I'll show you that when we run the outside part, unless I already did that. So Anyway, and the loop down here updates the time, checks the time, and then I format the time so that I can read it and see what it says. And I print that out to make sure it's got the correct darn time, because like I said, on the ESP8266, when you try to run static IP, it just freaks it out. I was getting all this weird time. The very first time I did it, it worked. I don't know why. And I've read other people have had this problem, and I didn't realize that was my problem until I read other people had the problem. And I can't remember if anybody had actually been able to fix that. So then I realized, oh, forget it. Throw the IP out the window, stick with a dynamic IP. Like I said, it hangs on to it. It has hung on to the same IP that I had when I had the static IP assigned to it. So that's really interesting. But I know it's getting a dynamic IP now. And I get the current hour, which you saw earlier. I have it set for 6, which is 6 a.m. in the morning. Yes, it's on 24-hour time. And the current minute, I was using that for testing. I actually don't use that at all now. Yes, I do use that. Because, all right, so you see here where I've got this duration time is not 0. So if it's not 0, then we're going to go into here and run this. If it is 0, then we turn everything off. And I've got this printouts for testing and the looks and the delay. Again, the delay is just for me to be able to see the time, so it'll tick off 1 second at a time. And down at the very bottom, you've got handle client, which handle client deals with all this stuff here whenever it gets a request, a server request. Okay, so back down here to current minute, and what day. I get the day, and then I use my array that I had of weekdays up there. What day is just a number, you know, and then I assign it to an actual day, so you can see weekday equals Sunday, Tuesday, or Thursday. And today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday, so I have it set so tomorrow it'll come on. I want to see it come on in case, because I think I just added this. I had forgotten. I had this commented out when I was doing some testing. So I just re-uploaded it, and I found out that all my little buttons are working good. So this is working. We'll see if the days of the week works tomorrow. Current hour, I use the current hour to start time to actually make it run. If I have the system on, then it's going to go through and check this. It's going to check. If the system is on, then it's got a duration time of something like 60,000 seconds, I think. I can't remember what duration time. 10 minutes, I think it's 60,000 seconds. So it checks the duration time, and then if it's the right day of the week, and then if it is the current hour, 6 o'clock, then it will run, okay? And blah, 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 testing information. And if the current minute is greater than 0, so if it's going to start at 6 o'clock exactly and run till 9 minutes. So it'll run 10 minutes. If it's equal to 0, then it's equal to 10, less than or equal to 10. So it's going to run for, actually it's going to run 11 minutes. But I have it turned off for 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Anyway, I have it turned off to give it time to rest. I don't know. I just did it instead of having them overlap or anything like that. Try to make it 1 minute. I just did it 5 minutes. It's just as easy. So this one runs 10 minutes, and then it comes to the next one and it runs 10 minutes. And you see how I have it get out of the way. Arduino upgraded a lot of stuff, and it's just annoying, and I would like to use a different IDE that is a lot lighter, doesn't have all this junk on it. So anyway, so I've got the front yard low, everything else set to high. It's backwards, but it so you see then the low turns it, actually turns it on, and you know, that's funny, it worked. I have it set up that way because of my LEDs that I use for testing, and I just realized that I have to think about this. I may need to go back and redo this whole thing, flip it over. That is interesting. I've got to rethink this whole thing because I have them all set to high, because this way it turns off the LEDs and then turns it on. Okay, so this is all completely off, but it works. I have to figure out why. Good grief. Okay, and so like I said, if duration time is 0, then we go down here and we turn everything off. And it just continuously loops, which is what's nice about running. I was initially wanting to run everything in the PHP and just turn everything off and on the ESP8266, but then I was fighting with the time, and you have to have multi-threads. Well, I was going to do it in Python, but you have to have multi-threads to be able to keep checking. Okay, time's up. So that's it, and I think I have everything. I think I have enough to make a video about this. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I had to add one more stupid thing, because this morning, whenever I was out here and finished, and just I don't even know if I had it plugged in yet or not, and I heard the system turn on. I thought, oh my God, the system is on already. Why should it be on? It shouldn't be on. And I walked over here and walked over here, went around the side of the house, and it was the neighbor's sprinkler system. Oh my gosh, what a mess.